Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel where I will be crocheting it forward in this video by showing you my two crochet comfort doll patterns. One is worked up in the round piece where I will show you how to make a boy comfort doll, and the second is worked up in the flat piece where I will show you how to make a girl comfort doll. The pattern is exactly the same. I'm also going to show all these dolls up close at the end of the video just to give you some ideas and tips on how I made them. The materials you're going to need will be a 4.5mm crochet hook, some scissors, sewing needles, crochet thread, stick pins, post-it note pad, and if you want to add cheek colors to your dolls, some makeup, an eyeshadow applicator, or a Q-tip. You will also need your scrap yarn, your ends if you have saved any for stuffing, as well as fiberfill. Okay, for this first segment of my crochet comfort doll series, I will be showing you how to make this basic crochet comfort doll with the gender being the boy. Okay, grab your crochet hook. Today we will be working with a, there it is, 4.5mm crochet hook, and whatever yarn you're going to use. And this is my pattern, believe it or not, on this post-it note for your feet. Again, this my pattern that I created is a total of 50 rows. 4 rows being the feet or shoes, 14 rows being the legs or pants, 12 rows being the chest or sweater, 10 rows for your face, and 10 rows for your hat or your hair. And at the end of the video, I'll review on how you can switch that up. So again, go ahead and grab your color that you're going to use for your shoes. In this video, I'm just going to use the color orange. It's a very simple pattern, very totally beginner friendly. So what we want to do is get a slip knot, and then we want to chain 32. I'm going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then pull my loop up, and then stick my crochet hook in the first chain, and then pull the go back into the number 5 loop, and then just keep crocheting like that. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and what this does is sets you up for a straight chain where you don't have to worry about it getting twisted up. So go ahead and do your 32 chains, and I will meet you back. Okay, I just crocheted my 32nd chain, and I'm just going to slip it right through to join to that very first chain. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is pull up, and I'm going to do this at the beginning of each row, and it just helps you. It's a crocheter's tip. I'll be pointing them out to you as I keep recording, but we pull up that first loop, and then we go right back in and pull up a loop for our first single crochet. Okay, and I know it looks exaggerated and stretched out, but by the time you finish with your other 31 crochets all the way around, it will be there. So take whatever stitch marker you want to use. If you don't feel that you need one, that's fine too, but I'm going to go ahead and use this safety pin, and then just put it in front of those first 2 loops right there. And then I'm going to continue and just make one single crochet in each of the next 31 stitches, and I will meet you back. Okay, I just finished my 32nd stitch, and I'm going to slip to join, but I'm going to take this out. I don't think I'm going to use this bobby pin. It's getting in the way. So then you slip to join right there where your bobby pin was, at the top of that first single crochet. Okay, and then we're going to always do this. You'll find it so much easier. I'm so not joking. If you could just lift that first loop after you slip stitch, then go right back in it, that same stitch, pull up a loop. Okay, now you got 2 loops on your hook and then yarn over, and then immediately put your stitch marker. That's your first stitch. So we just finished row 1. Need to do 3 more rows of the color of your shoes, and we will move forward with the pants. Okay, I'm just finishing up my 32nd stitch for my 4th round, and I'm going to slip to join. I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to cut off. Now the tails are optional. You can use the tails later for sewing, or you can just get a new strand of yarn for sewing your tails. I will tell you that having a lot of tails and working on this project can be kind of tedious, so for the video I'm just going to cut my tails. So the next thing you want to do is grab the color that you're going to use for the pants or legs. I am going to use, I just had it here, I think I'm just going to go with this gray. And you can fasten on your new color any way you want. It's totally up to you. I'm just getting a slip knot. Okay. And then to keep our seam right here in alignment, I'm suggesting that you always come over 5 stitches when you start a new color, or for your pants, because it's 17 rows, you want to stop at your 7th row and then fasten off and then begin your 8th row 5 stitches over. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So for instance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're going to slip to join, and then I have found that if you take your middle finger and your thumb and secure that tail and pull up this loop, your slip stitch will be a lot more smoother. And then again, we're going to raise our yarn for our first single crochet, and then we're just going to go in and start making our single crochets. I'm using a stitch marker, so I'm going to put that in the first 2 front loops. So go ahead and do 7 rows, and when we get to the end of the 7th row, I'll show you what I'm talking about in terms of keeping control of this seam. Okay guys, so I just finished my 7th row out of my 14 that I'm going to make for my pants, but I just wanted to show you what I was talking about in terms of keeping control of this seam. We're just going to go ahead and take our crochet hook and make a slip knot, and then just go over 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to slip, pull up that loop again, and then go right into the same stitch for our single crochet, our first single crochet. But I also want to show you this. Now I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I have problems with single crochet projects because I can't, for my eyes, and maybe it's because my eyes are over 50 years old, it's hard to tell the rows apart. So what I'm going to give you a crochet tip on is, if you stretch your material like that, you can really see the rows now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that helps out. I know with a half double crochet and double crochets, the rows are very obvious. So that's just a crocheter's tip. So go ahead and finish your other 7 rounds with 32 single crochets, and I will meet you back. Moving on, I just finished my 14 rows for my pants, and now I'm about to do my 12 rows for the chest portion or the sweater. And I already have the color I've selected on my hook, and now I'm just going to come over here where I fastened off and count 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then slip stitch, just repeating the pattern that I have been doing or crocheting. Lift that loop right there, and then insert my hook, pull up a loop. We have 2, and then that's my first single crochet. So now I'm just going to go ahead and put my stitch marker, and now I'm going to make 12 rows of this color, and I will meet you back. But before that, I just want to say, just in case you come up short, I'm just going to continue single crocheting as I give you this crocheter's tip in terms of this pattern, my pattern. If you come up like one single crochet short or over, don't worry about it. You can make a decrease or a increase in that last stitch. However, if you've gone like 7 rows or something like that in the area and it's been miscounted, then you might have to frog it. Because it is going to make the comfort dowel uneven, and it'll be a really obvious error. So what I like to do is I count every other row. I go ahead and stitch this and then slip to join, and then the next row I'll count to be sure that there's 32 single crochets. So again, this is a forgiving pattern, so go ahead and do your 12 single crochets. 12 rounds of 32 single crochets for your chest, and I will meet you back. All right, moving on to the fourth section of the base of our comfort dowel is going to be the face or the head. And I've already completed my 12 rows right here for my sweater or my chest. I'm saying them both because there's people that refer to them differently. And I'm just going to continue fastening on and off, not fastening on. I'm drawing a blank. I'm so sorry. I'm going to continue to just start my piece like I've been doing with the slip stitch, and then pulling up my yarn, and then wait a minute, I didn't go over 5. Let's do this over. So if you notice how the seam's going like this way, that way, and that way, otherwise it would have just been all going and probably already to the front. So that's why we're doing that. So let's go over 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to slip to join and then pull up that loop a little bit for my single crochet. The first one. So for the head, it's going to be 10 rows of single crochet, of 32 single crochets all the way around. So I will meet you back after you're done with those. All right, we've just finished up the head part. That's 10 rounds of 32 single crochets. Now we're just going to finish up. This is the last part of the base of the comfort dowel pattern. And I'm just going to go over 3. 1, 2, 3, and then continue to attach like I have been doing with the slip stitch. Hang on to that tail, pull my first loop up, and then single crochet in that same stitch. Okay, and I wanted to point out, where's my stick here? The loops that I'm pulling that I'm putting my stitch marker in are these two right here in the front. When you go to slip to join, you have to turn it that way, and then these two are the loops right here that you would slip to join. These are just the ones facing me. If that made sense, hopefully it did. I just didn't want people. I would think that it would be very confusing if you were slipping and joining this too, and it would throw the whole row off. So I just wanted to point that out. So let's finish up with your hat color, and again that's 32 single crochets for another 10 rows, and I will meet you back. Okay, just finished my 10 rows for my hat of 32 single crochets. So this is what your piece should be looking, and let's review real quick. We have 4 rows for our feet or shoes. We have 14 rows for our pants or legs. We have 12 rows for our shirt or chest. We have 10 rows for our face, and then 10 rows for our hat. So I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to go grab my colors that I'm going to make my flat crochet piece out of, which is going to be our girl pattern, and I will meet you back. Okay, moving on to the flat stitch pattern. This is the exact same pattern. The only difference is the boy crochet doll is in the round and this girl one is going to be on the flat stitch, which some people might find as more beginner friendly. So I've chained 32 plus 1, and now I'm just going to single crochet all the way back to the beginning chain. And you're going to do this, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. Okay, so I've just worked up 2 rows of 32 single crochets each, and I just want to show you how you want to end your rows and start your rows so you can have a crisp side. So this is 31, and this is my 32nd single crochet. Okay, I'm going to lift up my loop, turn my work, stick my crochet back in, and it's still lifted, and go right back into that same single crochet, and then crochet 31 down, because that's 2, for a total of 4 rows, and I'll meet you back and show you how I change colors on the flat stitch. Okay, so I just finished my, well, I'm not finished with my 32nd stitch. I finished my 31st stitch, and now I'm going to grab my new color, and I'm just going to slip stitch that last loop on, and I'm going to leave a long enough tail so I can, I don't know, maybe 12 inches just to be sure, so I can sew the piece together later. And I'm just going to yarn over and go through with the new color. Then I'm going to turn it around and tie these so they're not all over the place, and that's going to make them a little more secure, but not too much, because remember, we're still lifting right here our stitch before we turn it, and then right in that same stitch we're going to single crochet for our first stitch. Okay, and then single crochet another 31, and this is where the pattern is exactly the same in terms of stitch count and rows. So for this girl pattern, I'm going to make 14 rows, because we're not in the round, 14 rows for my skirt, and then I'm going to make 12 rows for my sweater, 10 rows for my face, and then another 10 rows for her hair, because I'm going to show you how to make some hair. I might do some a headband, a winter headband. I'm not sure yet. So, but I'm going to go ahead and finish that, and we'll move on to the next part of the pattern, which is sewing him all together, them all together, and then stuffing them. So I'll meet you back. Okay, so I've completed my flat pattern for the girl crochet doll with my 4 rows for my shoes, the 14 for the skirt, the 12 for the chest, and then 10 for our face, and then 10 for our hair, which comes out to 50. So the next thing we're going to do is sew the bottom. We're going to go back to the crochet doll in the round, and pull your piece inside out. Okay, so what I did is I just rolled the top down, and I'm still, you know, inside out, and I'm just gonna crochet one time all the way across. And to do that, we're just going to insert our our sewing needle. I'm gonna tie that right there, and I'm just gonna go in and out the stitches with the same color of the shoes or feet that you have chosen. And just doing that in and out this stitch across here will close our feet for the round pattern, for this round pattern. And I like to just do 2 knots. I'm going to fasten off, and then I will be back here with the flat pattern. So I have my flat pattern here, and I'm going to do the exact same thing, except we'll have to fold it. So you'll decide which is your front, which is going to be your inside, and which is going to be your outside. And then with the same colors, we're going to sew across here and then start sewing up in this color, and then in your skirt color, your chest, that, and leave the opening so that we can have pretty much the same piece as our round pattern. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then I will meet you back. Real quick, I just realized I forgot to mention that when you're doing the flat pattern, all your tails should have been on the same side. As we were turning and they were an even amount, they all should have been on the same side. But if they weren't, it's not a big deal, and that you would be sewing down this way. Like my tail right here for my feet was right here, so I sewed here and then ended there. And then this one was way up here, so I sewed here and ended there, and then that's how you'll be closing the flat crochet dowel pattern. So I just wanted to point that out. Okay, so I have sewn the bottom of the round pattern as well as the flat pattern, and I moved this piece inside out because it's going to be the same thing for the feet. So I'm going to just set aside the flat pattern, and in this round pattern I have the outside the correct way, and what you want to do is again take the same color, and then what I like to do is just fold it in half, and then from here I'll put like a stitch marker so I know where the middle is, or you could count the stitches, it's up to you. I just find this easier. And then I'm going to go to the middle of the top stitch right here. I'm going to pull my needle, my threaded needle, and then I'm going to turn it around and hang on to this with my thumb right there. And then all I'm going to do now is just sew 1 stitch per row all the way down till you get to the bottom of your stitch marker or your finger, whatever you want to use. Okay, and we're just doing like this basic sew. And then once you get here, you just want to go like that, just go around the bottom of it and pull real tight. Okay, so you see kind of a little separation there. And then I'm going back up to the top. Okay, and there you have, so you separated your feet, and then we turn it around and we fasten off. You want to make these stitches snug because this is where we create the definition of where the feet are and the legs. Okay, because this is my stash yarn, scrap yarn, and I know this happens a lot with everyone, that the longer it keeps, like, it starts to lose its firmness and it splits a lot. So then with the ends, all we're going to do is just take them and hide them in the inside. The great thing about this pattern is we don't have to sew in our ends because the ends are going to be in the inside and no one is going to see them. That's just awesome. So what I'm going to do is go get my gray color here and then thread my needle with that same color, and I will meet you back. Okay, so I'm back to do the pant part, and with the skirt you won't have to worry about this because it's just going to be fluffy. You will have to do the feet, and I'll show you that in a minute. But what I wanted to show you is take a stick pin and maybe on the 4th row, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the middle, and I can see where I've sewn. So I'm just going to sew all the way up. And you can start from the top or the bottom. It's totally up to you, as long as you have that divided, a division for your legs. And I'm going to do the same thing right here and just hold my thread, because we're going to go up, and again we're just doing row for row, in and out, because we're going to come back down, and you want them kind of firm. You don't want to like stretch the yarn to the point where you're tearing it or breaking it. You just want to go all the way up. In and out of each round till you get to your marker, which I'm at right now. And I'm going to take that out. I'm going to do that one more time. Okay, and then I'm going to go all the way back here, and then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to turn it around, tie it, and then hide it in the back. So I'll meet you right back. Okay, so I've done both of my feet and then the pants for the boy pattern. And now what we want to do is grab our fiberfill and start stuffing. Now with the girl, you just, and just a heads up, you want to break up and separate the fiberfill, so you don't have like a big lump that you can't work with when you're molding the doll later. So at this point for the doll, that's how we're going to do. I mean, for the girl doll, is just stuff her skirt. There's no, my pattern doesn't have any separation for anything, other than you might want to take your crochet hook and push some down to define her feet a little more. That certainly wouldn't hurt. And you can also take some of your scrap yarn to do this as well. I'm going to do that with her, just like a handful of scraps yarn. Some of you guys might not keep your ends. I know I do. And again, just take your crochet hook, push some of the fiberfill and the ends to your feet. And again, this is crochetier's choice on how fluffy you want your dolls, or if you just want them to have a more defined. But I have my seam coming up on the side for her. Okay, so let's do, she's done. Show you how to do the round pattern for the little boy. And I find it easier to roll this down so you can stuff comfortably. And I'm just going to go ahead, grab some fiberfill, and I'll do one leg for you, and then I'll do the other leg off camera. Again, use your crochet hook to get it down to the bottom. And that's how it puffs up. So I'm going to finish this leg, and I'm going to do this, and I'll meet you back. Okay, at this point we have our comfort doll stuffed up to pretty much the waist. Now I'm going to show you how to do the arms. What you want to do is take your stick pen, count down 3 rows, 2, 3, 3 rows down and 3 rows over, 1, 2, 3, and then stick your pen there. Do the same thing for the other side. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to sew from here all the way to where the sweater color ends. So I have my crochet hook, my sewing needle. I have it threaded, and I'm just going to start from the bottom. 1, 2, 3. I want to have 3 stitches. Again, we're doing it the exact same way. We're going to hold the yarn in the back, and then we're just going to go up, straight up, just like we did with the pant leg. And just in and out each row. Trying to keep the line that we're creating for the arm as straight as possible. Now I'm at my pin, and now I'm going to go back down. So I'm going to come back down, come back out here, and then fasten off the way I did, do this side, and then I'm going to do the flat pattern, and I'll meet you back and we'll move up. And just to tell you, for each section that we're doing, it's easy if you just roll it up for each section. So by the time I get back, I will roll up and we'll have the head part. Okay, we have our arms sewn on both of the patterns, both the round pattern and the flat pattern. You see how they're quite different. And that is a lot because of the different yarns that we used. And just because these dolls kind of take on a personality of themselves. So now we're just going to stuff the chest. And I'll do the boy first. And again, you can make these as fluffy as you want. You'll really start to see that the definition of the arms and the legs and the doll is really evident right now. And it's so cute. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stuff her real quick and then get my needle threaded to do the face. Okay, so we have our dolls filled. We have the chest done, and then you want to do about 1, 2, 3, maybe about 4 or 5 rows, almost half of the head part. Okay, and so we know which side is going to be the back. This is my back, that's my back for the girl doll. So that's the side that we're going to start with the head. And again, we're just going to fasten on, and I did make a knot right here. And what we're going to do is just go in and out each stitch all the way around the face. Try not to grab none of the filling. Just like that. In and out. Okay. And do that all the way around, and I'll meet you back. Once you've made it all the way around, we just want to start to tighten the neck part. And that's just taking the tail and then just tighten it up a little bit. Okay. We can always tighten it later, and then you want to make a knot. Okay, and then we're gonna go around one more time in those same spots. Again, in and out, and they're really evident now. Make sure you're not going into the color of your chest, because whatever, make sure, like this is my face color, so I'm using this, the color, the rows with the same color. Otherwise, it's not gonna look right. So go around all the way one more time, and I will meet you. Okay, so after you've gone around 2 times, I went on ahead and tightened it up a little bit more, and I made another knot. And now I'm just going to take this smaller needle and again lose my ends. Not sewing them in, I'm just losing them in the fiberfill. Okay, and I'm working with the back of the doll right here. So now what we want to do is go ahead and stuff our head. Okay. Get that ready for sewing, which I already done on this doll. And just to simplify the video, then you want to get the same yarn color as your head, and then we're gonna make sure you're confirming which side is your front and which is your back. Okay, and then we're just going to close this shut. Okay, using that same sewing pattern, just go in and out stitches. In and out, in and out. And again, you can stuff the head as stuffy, as fluffy as you want, or if you want a thinner doll, it's up to you. But go all the way around and I'll meet you back here. Okay, so we've gone all the way around. Okay, and now we just want to pull on the working yarn like a drawstring is what it should amount to. And then we just want to tie the top. We don't have to go around this part twice. My scissors here. Okay. And then at this point, if it's bunched up down here, all you have to do is work the fiberfill however you want that. So I am going to get the boy doll done right here and get the colors for the hair, a couple hairstyles I want to show you, and then also the pom-pom, get my color for my pom-pom and show you how I make that for the boy doll. Okay, so prior to doing the hair and the pom-pom for the winter hat, I want to show you how to make the ears and the nose. It's the same stitch, and what I've done is I've threaded a needle, double threaded it, and I'm just going to make a knot in the back, at the bottom I mean. Okay, and I want to use my stick pins here and maybe go down 1, 2, 3 on each side where I'm going to put my, and then go right across the line right here and make them about the same, and make put your other stick pin there for your ears, and then go right about, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So go underneath one row and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and put for our nose. Okay, so very simple stitch that we're going to use. I'm going to start with this side, and all we're going to do is see where our stitch is at. We're just going to go in between one stitch, okay? And then I'm going to take my pin out, set that aside, and then pull our yarn. I'm going to turn my dowel, and then I'm going to go through the same stitch and come out the same stitch, but I'm going to put my needle in, insert my needle inside the circle to form like a knot. And you can hang on to the tails with your fingers so you have a knot right there, okay? And I've been doing my ears like 3 times. So that's 1, 2, 3. So you have like a little ear right there. So then what I'm going to do now is just go inside and then out. See that first stitch right next to my stitch marker? I'm going to pull out my yarn, and then I'm going to take out my pin, and then because that's the middle, I'm going to go to the next side, the next stitch, and then come out the first stitch where we came in with the yarn and do the same thing. Now you can make your noses as big, as small. I'm going to do that over. I'm just going to do 2. I've been doing my noses only 2 at a time. Whoops, some of my craft things fell. Okay, we can form that later, but then I'm going to go back in and then come out and do the same thing for our very last stitch. So I went 1 over. I'm going to take my pin out, and then I'm going to do the same thing that we did with the other ear 3 times. 1, 2. You can do these as tight as you want, as loose as you want if you want more definition. And then I'm just going to go ahead and lose this tail. keep losing my scissors here. Right there. Okay, and then lose this, just like we've been doing, right in the inside of the dowel, the fiberfill. Just pull the yarn through, and you've lost it. And there you have the even ears, and then your nose. And again, you can take your crochet hook or your needle and make more definition on the nose. Push it out if you want, push it in. You can do only one knot, it's totally up to you. I'm going to get the other dowel done, and then I'll come back and we'll do the eyes. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is make our eyes. And to do that, I've gone over from the ear 1, 2, 3. So from this ear 1, 2, 3, just so that we can make an even. I went on ahead and threaded my needle with some crochet thread, and you can use regular thread if you want to. I'm just going to go in from the back and then go, whoops, come out where my pin is, okay, and then go over here. Let's see, we've gone over 1, 2 and into the second, so 1, 2 into the second over here, and then just go back in where my pin is, turn my dowel, go back across. I want to do this twice. Okay, come back over here to your first eye, and then just do this again. So your eyes are even, and then you coming out the back. Okay, see how we have some even eyes, and then we're just going to cut our yarn here, and again lose those ends in the fiberfill. Sometimes they're hard to attach. Now you can use a needle for this. I just find it so much easier using a crochet hook. And you don't have to use just black. I've been using black because I just think that's just the standard basic color of eyes. Okay, I'm just going to cut these ends and finish up with the girl dowel, and then I'll show you how to add eyelashes. Okay, with the girl dowel, to do some lashes, all I did was take my crochet thread and then make a knot at the end. Okay, and then I went in, I'm going to turn it this way because I went, the eyelashes are 1, 2, 3. So I went in 1, 2, 3, and then came out like 2, I think. So you have this right here. You have your knot right there. And then I went in again. Well, this is actually the first time. And then I went in to the back. This is where we lose the thread. Okay. And then I'm just cutting it. My scissors fell down. And again, it's going to hold in there because we have that fiberfill in there. And then, because this is already in a knot, all I did was take and cut, leave a couple centimeters, and then with the smaller needle, just pull out the fibers in the crochet thread. Yeah, to get that effect. Okay, so I'll come back and we will do the hair and the pom-pom. Okay, guys, moving on with the pom-pom for the boy. I have some post-it notes here. This is what I'm going to use to show you how to make the pom-pom. You can make your pom-poms however you want. If you have a pom-pom maker, that'd be great. but I don't, so I've just kind of came up with this little idea. So what I've done is I've taken 2 strips because I'm going to do my pom-pom in 2 colors, and then I'm going to pull it in the middle on this side so I can tie, and then I'm just going to start wrapping. We want to wrap this around like 40 times, so go ahead and wrap it and I'll meet you. Okay, so once we've wrapped our yarn around the post-it note, we're going to go ahead and cut our yarn right here and then secure our ends that we had to tie with, our ties, I should say, and then just tie it really tight. Make it into a knot. Now we can pull our sticky note out, and I have my fingers in here, and then we're just going to cut the yarn to make our pom-pom without cutting our finger. Let's see. Okay, so you're going to take some real sharp scissors and just cut through all the yarns. Okay, and then of course you're going to have to fluff it out. At this point you want to take your scissors and go ahead and fluff it out like this. We're just going to go all the way around and make it into the size that we want, and I'll meet you back and we can sew it on the hat. Okay, once you have got the shape you want for your pom-poms, take your strings that you tied with and go ahead and tie them to your tails to your hat. Tie them in a knot real tight. And I apologize if I'm going off camera here to do this. Okay, and then at this point we can just take our the color of our hat, because that's going to be an obvious color if you didn't use that one. The other strings kind of blend in, and there you have his hat. And then to finish up, you want to take your applicator, eyeshadow applicator, and just take some blush and just do a little rosy cheek, nothing too serious, and he's done. So let's move on to the crochet flat girl doll. So for the girl doll, I'm going to show you how to make these little twisties, and then also this little twisty. And then if you just want to put 2 high ponytails like I did with her, that's really easy too. So first we'll just do with the ponytails. So what you need to do is grab the color of your hair, and then grab something long. I'm just going to use my cell phone. And then, you know, however thick you want the ponytails to be. And I'm just going to go, I think it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm just going to cut down here at the bottom. Super simple. Keep the strings together. Okay, you want them even down here at the bottom as possible. And then just decide where you're going to stick them over here. Let's see. Maybe like 2 stitches. Okay. This might be a little tedious. You might have to grab a bigger crochet hook. But pull them all through. And I'm going to have to grab a bigger crochet hook. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I got my bigger crochet hook. It's a lot of strands of yarn. And then I'm just going to try not to make too big of a hole. But go ahead and grab them. I'm not even going to front on you here. This can be very tedious. And try to wiggle them through. There they are. Try to get to the middle. Make sure I've grabbed them all. Pull it out. So you have this circle right here. Take your 2 fingers and then pull the rest through. And that's how you get a ponytail. So it looks like that. Okay, that's if you want to put ponytails. Let me get my crochet hook together and I'll show you how to make the twisties. Okay, so we're back and I'm going to show you how to make the twisties. Now these can be as big as you want or as small as you want. It's the same concept. It's just if you want to make double crochets, single crochets, or half double crochets, but you can attach anywhere you want with the single crochet. Okay, and then we're going to make I'll show you the smaller twisty, and then I'll show you how to make the bigger twisty. So we're just going to chain like 10. We'll chain 10. Okay, once you've chained 10, you're going to go back to the second chain from your hook and make 3 single crochets. Okay, in the next chain, 3 single crochets, and that's what you're going to do in every chain until you get to your beginning chain. It's just 3 single crochets in each chain. So go ahead and do that, and I'll meet you back and let you know what that looks like. You see it's already curling up. Okay, so this is what it should look like. Just a little twisty. It twists on its own. It's so cute. And then you would just slip to join and make these all over if you wanted your doll to have like little Shirley Temple twisties or curls. I'm going to come back and do the same thing, only I'm going to show you what it looks like in a double crochet. So what I'm going to do is crochet a slip stitch, single crochet to latch on, and then I'm going to make 20 stitches, and then I'm going to put 3 double crochets in each of those stitches, and I'll show you the difference in height. It's the exact same thing, only I've added 10 more chains, and instead of single crochets I'm going to do double crochets. So I'll meet you right back. Okay, so I came down here and I attached and I chained 20. I'm going to make double crochet twisties. So what I'm going to do is in the first, second, third chain from your hook, this is going to count as my first, the 3 chains is going to count as my first double crochet, and then I'm going to make 2 more in there. Go to your next stitch, make 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and then go to your next stitch, and so on, and all the way until you get to your beginning chain. Let me finish this, and I'll show you what that looks like and the difference in height. Okay, so I did my last one, and I just want to show you how that came together. So if you're going for a look like that, that's how you would do it, and then you would come anywhere here, however you want the curls to lay, and do a slip stitch, chain 1, fasten off, and then you'd be done. I want to show you real quick some different approaches I took to bangs for both the boy and the girl doll. So I'll be right back. So for these 2 boy dolls, I did just some straight fringes right here for him, and then longer fringes behind his ears for the back. And just in case you don't like that bald look, you can always do that. That's an option. And then for him, the first row I did of his hair color, and then the border, a couple different colors for the shirt. I wanted it to match his shirts. And then I came back here and did a picot to make it curly, like in every other stitch. And I'll show you how to do that real quick with her. And then with her, I did I think I did a 1 chain picot all the way around. You see how it lifts a little bit? It just depends what look you're going for. And with her, I just did a fringe. And then with her, I just did a fringe. Now you can always cover the back up and make more of a hairline if you want. That's up to you. I'll show you how to do it. But generally you just start in the middle and then work that way. Count your rows before you start decreasing, and then do the exact same thing over here. That's if you want the doll to have a more different look. And then for her scarf, all I did was a fringe as well, just to give it a little personality. But picot stitch is what I'm going to tell you right now. And then I'll show you, actually I'll show you how to do the fringes first. Yeah. So you're going to take some yarn, and then you want them to be about 3 inches. And then we're just going to take our smaller hook and then go right in here. Not where your skin is at, but right here where the hairline is. Grab your yarn, pull it through, oops, and then wrap your yarn around the hook and pull it through. Now that's what you would do for, we'll do that one more time. You just go right in the next one, wrap it through, pull through, and that's a fringe. And you do that all the way around, and then you trim them to how you want. But if you're going for a picot, and you can do these picots like 1 chain, 2 chain, 3 chain, it just depends what look you're going for. So what we're going to do is attach our yarn, single crochet, oops, yarn is coming apart there, chain 1, and then go into the next one, single crochet, chain 1, go into your next one, next stitch, single crochet, chain 1. You can go that way, or you can do a 3 chain picot, which is going to give you an entirely different look. 1, 2, 3, and then single crochet, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, go in your next stitch, single crochet, or you can slip stitch in the same stitch and then go into your next stitch. It just depends, and you'll get a curviness like for curls and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and finish her up, and I want to come back and show you how to make some scarves, and then that will and then also how to make a ruffle. Now I'm not done with her yet. I still have some more hairstyles to go through, and this is just a shell all the way around for the dress to give it a little emphasis. Oops. Okay, real quickly, just wanted to show you that when you're making the fringe for the bangs, or even the back, you wrap the yarn and you pull it through. Be sure you take your hands and push it down so it's really secure. So what I'm going to do is just make her some bangs here and then clean it up, and I'll meet you. Real quick, I just want to mention, if you don't have an applicator, like an eyeshadow applicator, you can always just use a Q-tip to put on the little cheeks, and that's optional. You don't need to put makeup on there if you don't want to. Right now I'm going to show you how to make a quick scarf. And what we want to do is chain 23. Once you've chained 23, you want to double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook, and then double crochet in each chain to your beginning chain, and I'll meet you back. So once you've crocheted your back to the beginning chain, you chain 1, and then you want to leave about 6 to 8 inches for sewing. Okay, and then what I like to do is go ahead and, well, you might need that. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And all you have to do, like if you don't like this where it's bunched up right here, you can just do this and then sew it up right there, and we'll be right back. Okay, so what I've done is I've threaded my needle with my tail, and now we're going to join the scarf. And all that consists of is just 3 stitches probably. 1, it's in the back, so it doesn't really, no one's going to see it, so it's not necessary to be that critical. And if you want, you can secure it a little bit more. I'm cool with that, so I'm just going to go ahead and fasten off, which means I'm just going to make a knot and then lose my tails. As well as this one. I think I have it tucked in there enough. And there you go. There's your basic comfort doll. Now what I'm going to do is clean up a little bit, and I'll show you all the different dowel combinations that I've come up with. Okay, real quickly, I just wanted to show you the scarf I made for my boy dowel. And what I did is I chained 30, and then I single crocheted back to the beginning chain, fastened off. And if you don't want to tie in the back, you can also tie in the front or so, just to give you an idea on the different color combinations. And you don't even have to like match your yarns. Like some of these dowels I matched as far as the color combination, and some I just did random. And you know, there's no right or wrong. It's just however you want to assemble your dowels. And I'm going to make another, I'm just sewing in the ends right here. I'm going to make another video to show in depth more hairstyles that I'm not including in this video, this initial video, because this is just for the basics. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab my smaller hook and then just hide these tails. Yeah, like I said, this is a great crochet stash buster. I'm just trying to hide these. You can add buttons and different things on them, but if you're making them for a small baby, I wouldn't suggest that. But I just wanted to show you how I finished him up, our boy dowel. So let me show you the different combo. These two are pretty standard. Just you know, I think I tried to do a tie right here. I think I might have did a chain of 40, and it's just, you know, you being creative. But I didn't do any bangs on these, just the different color combinations I wanted to share. You can make them in different nationalities like I did here. Again, color combination, just trying to get everything in the camera so you can see different hairstyles. These two are girl dolls. Again, their feet. I just did a couple rows of just sewing buttons right there, and then of course the fringe on this one. This one I did a messy bun, which I'll cover in my next video on the back of those. And again, I'll show you how to do that in my next video if you want to cover that up for your dolls. Okay, and then here's another two color combinations. I did want to tell you, I did a scarf long enough to go around her neck twice for her. And then if you want the more pointy look, the only thing I did different with him is when I had when I was sewing him the bottom together inside out, that's when I did when I sewed the feet together. So if you're going for a look like that, you might want to try that. And we have these two guys, again, from their feet up to their hair. He has a mohawk. I'm going to show you how to make that my next video. And then I just did fringe all the way around for his hair to make him look like he had like spikes. For these dolls, just a color combination. I did make kind of a belt for her. I wasn't really happy with how that turned out, and then I got creative with different fringy yarn for her hair. That'll be covered in my next video. And same with him. I made some little braids with him and like a little beanie, and then I did 2 yarns for his trim and for his sweater. And for these two ladies, I'm gonna go ahead and cover the shell in my next video. This has gotten pretty long, and then I just took some scrap yarn, and I'm gonna do her hair like this, but I'm not done with her yet. I don't know what I want to do with it. I have it tied right now to control it, but I think I might just glue it. I'm not sure. That's all going to be covered in my next video. And of course, with my big comfort doll, I think I used a size 5 or 6 hook on this, and then just did my own thing with the shoes, socks, legs. She has like knickers on, and then a belt, and then her shirt, and then I did a two-color scarf, and then I did the ponytails with some ribbons in them, and then of course that picot bang look right there. Now what I didn't like with this is you can see, I don't know if you can see that in the camera, you can really see the polyfill. So that's something you want to consider if you want to use, if you're doing bigger dolls, maybe you want to double up on the yarn so you don't see that. You can certainly make the dolls smaller if you use a smaller hook. And then of course the two that we finished today. And again, this one was done in the round, this one was done on my flat pattern, the exact same number of rows and stitches, it was just created differently. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Please comment, subscribe, give a thumbs up, and share. I would love to hear from you. I appreciate everybody's patience, and please be on the lookout for my next video where we cover more accessories and more styles. So together, let's continue to crochet it forward. Bye now.